they should wrap up this defense. It looks really dire
Wow.
for them. I thought Danny Defeato would be able to push on the point, but holding strongly, used a few ults to do so. Rein's rejects keep their defense strong.
Yeah, sadly, it did cost them 4 ults, which is pretty big. And when you look at the other side, then Defeato has 5 ults still in the bank. So they're looking to push here. I'm expecting them to push strong and come out swinging. Out starts with the junk tire. It is going to be the initiator, comes around. Oh, it does get picked up by Father Squanch, though, so completely negated. One of the worst ults of the game, if you ask me, the Junkrat main. We do see the Pharah coming on the point, though, trying to pressure them as much as possible. Out comes another Reaper ult. He is able to get 2 really big picks. Death by Ray pops his ult to try to protect against the Pharah. However, she is able to get Moira before it being negated. So really kind of going back and forth here. However, it looks like the defense is doing a good job of getting picks. Sarge is able to get GIF, his opposite. And now it's just the Moira and Mercy as we tick into the last minute of this hold.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, going all the way back to Father Squanch's kill on that Junkrat tire, incredibly influential because it was going to beeline for Death by Ray. They knew that he saw the Transcendence and wanted to get that out of the way. Wasn't really able to, and was able to pop that for that last team fight, really kind of turn the tide their direction. Still a strong defense here for the defenders. Rein's rejects holding well. The attackers trying to push them as long as possible, but running out of time. They did get around 60% of the points, so they can take some positives, and as they start to push in, they may have the numbers to continue this cap, but Rein's rejects really make them work for it.
Absolutely, and we see it's Vintage on that Reaper is doing a really good job of getting picks. I think he's been instrumental right now. However, as this last little push starts, the shield is protecting the point. We see the Supercharge come out to give everyone a lot of extra damage, and they are able to cap it towards the very end of their time.
A really good push for them, and the street phase could prove difficult unless they show that same kind of aggressive attack we saw on Paul. But again, Rein's rejects a good initial defense with the longer respawn, and hopefully they can make the most of that. Sarge now coming in for the defenders, getting the kill on Dank Techno Jesus, now switching to the McCree, and I think that is a solid kill for them. Again, just trying to bolster the defense a little bit, but now as the res comes through, it's still a solid 6v6. The payload moves in behind the attackers. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, good hook, good pull. We do see 2 go down, 3 after GIF does as well. So yeah, really solid defense coming in. Sarge with that Reinhardt getting a lot of really good picks as well with the Reaper. Yeah, really good defense, really good coordination, and I really like these team picks that they've had.
Yeah, the defense really strengthening here in the street space. Good few pulls there from Sarge and the Roadhog. Really kind of helping push the attack back from Danny Defeato. And yeah, already eating a bit of this time. It's been 60 seconds or so. The payloads move not very far from when they've capped that first point. Minute and a half now here, but it's 4 ultimates for the attackers. 5 on the other side. They'll have 6 once Father Squanch comes back with that tactical visor. 1 coming out now as Finish not using another Death Blossom to pick up 2 supports. The second goes down via Death by Ray on the Zenyatta. And now as Dank Techno is trying to find some space in the back, it's caught by Sarge. It's another good hold here for Rein's rejects.
The clock is ticking down. They've got just over a minute left, and the payload has barely moved so far. They need to do something, kind of galvanize, get their teamwork going, maybe push from a different direction. But right now, Rein's rejects is just holding them back without even a second thought.
Really good ult management. They only need advantage. Nice Death Blossom in that last fight, so they still have 5 for this, what could be a final fight, depending how long this draws out. But now Zermager comes in with the res on Dank Techno Jesus. They're using the Valkyrie, and they've got the sound barrier as well. It's all come out on both sides. Just 1 left for the attackers, 1 use so far for the defenders. Rein's rejects really trying to hold as strongly as possible. Not really getting the kills. Those crates just finally able to pick up that Reaper on Vantage Knife, and they start to push this payload through the street space.
Yeah, I think that was a good pick. Out comes Death by Ray's Transcendence to Transcendence, that's the name. Try to do everything he can. He does get taken out by a Riptide though. Dank Techno Jesus also gets Father Squanch. Bobby is Death by Ray's res, but Sarge and Death by Ray immediately go back down. Really good picks right now from the attack. They are just clinically taking these people down one by one as this pushes, and they should be able to get the next checkpoint. Wow.
And as it goes into overtime, able to continue pushing. They probably will get onto the this third section. Vanish maybe trying to contest last minute, but definitely disadvantage without his teammates. Try and raid the stall as long as possible as they try and stream in, but he'd hate to get caught here with this strong attack. They finally do take him down, and maybe a last second contest. No one really pushing up far enough to do so. Contested 1.83 meters, and it is Father Squanch in the mix trying to cause some problems, but the attacker's still trying to come in very strongly. Death by Ray now falling via the ultimate there from Dank Techno Jesus. Attackers finally getting the kills they need, and that will be a cap Only a minute and 28 seconds though as they come into the final section. Rein's Rejects still a chance to hold this, but you've got to applaud the efforts of Danny Defeato to make it this far.
Oh yeah, I thought they had him, pinned back way when the payload first started moving for sure. However, they really came out. They coordinated their ult usage really well, and they got the picks they needed to. They focused on the right targets, being Reaper and the Zenyatta that provides a lot of that healing and the damage boost, and it worked out well for them. And now as they're pushing closer and closer to this last checkpoint.
Advantage trying to come down and bait out the Transcendence. They knew that he was up there. Not the Transcendence, maybe one of the support ultimates, the Sound Barrier, but not quite able to do so. Now looking for an opportunity to use that Death Blossom. It's still 4, almost 5 ultimates once the Transcendence comes up from Death by Ray for the defenders. Still 4 on the other side as well. They will have to retreat though, 37 seconds on the clock, and still a lot of ultimates for the attackers. They don't want to be too hasty, they definitely don't want to stagger. Time to regroup and form up with one last attack.
Yeah, you don't really want to feel the pressure. You want to, kind of remain calm and push together as a team. Looks like they're doing a pretty good job of that as well, pushing forward. Rein does get picked though. I'm sorry, not picked, hooked. However, he answers with a Earth Shatter, which is answered by Death by Ray's Transcendence. So just really big back and forth right now. Everyone popping their ults, doing everything they can. Darth Donut 8 is able to get the Supercharger as well as Riku. Father Squanch also goes down, and the attack is doing a good job of just pushing this forward. Looks like they might be able to get this in overtime unless Rein's Rejects can do something to kind of contest this at the last second. Out comes the Reaper ult. As soon as I say that, gets 3 big picks. Skull goes down as well. However, this is still walking forward with that Zarya ult. However, now it looks like Rein's Rejects is able to kind of galvanize. If they can get these last few picks, they'll be able to stop it right before they cap the point, and it looks like that's what happened.
Oof. Man, and what a round. What can you say? The Death Blossom definitely helpful there to try and keep them from being able to cap that point. Definitely look good for the attackers, but I will say the Death by Ray's Transcendence there towards the end. The second consecutive shadow that he survived and was able to use Transcendence, so definitely helpful and helping in that department. Rein's Rejects defending all the way out though really well. Obviously the picks from Vantage Knife able to get the Death Blossoms in, and Father Squanch contesting as long as possible. Just a good group effort from them, and an opportunity now to complete the map for the 3rd game of the series.
Oh yeah, it's the good news is that they don't have to worry about going into extra rounds. They can win it right here. The bad news is they have to push it all the way to the point if they do want to win this. So we need to see a very aggressive push come out from them, a strong team composition, and the ability to kind of stay together and push together and use their ults kind of in line with one another. So they have the entire world of work against them, but it is possible, and I believe they can do it.
I completely agree. Now we actually do see the changes coming through. Father Squanch switching off the DPS to the Ana, and Death by Ray filling out on that Reaper. Sarge going Roadhog and Vantage Knife on Genji. Rick out on the second tank. Going Orisa for the attackers. For the defense, Darth Donut trying to get damage in on Junkrat. Crazy Joe going Orisa. Dank Techno Jesus on Soldier. Jiff on Roadhog. Burr going Mercy, and Skull on Zenyatta now instead of Lucio. Damage in over the top early. Darth Donut causing issues with the Junkrat, already up to 17% of his ultimate. And a really quick aggressive attack trying to come around the statue, but immediately paying for it. Rickout takes a Helix Rocket to the face. That may just end this attack for Rein's Rejects.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort, but no one was really paying enough attention to the Soldier that was up on the high ground. He does now go down by Vantage Knife, who is on Genji this time instead of the Reaper. Sarge is also able to get Death Donut out, so that's 2 big picks for them. And you see them, starting to push forward a little bit and do what they need to capture this point. We see Death by Ray. He's going to be on the Reaper this time to deal with those tanks, and he comes around the back. He's able to get Ermagerd Burr some Mercy out of mech. Rick out able to get a quick 3 as well. So yeah, really strong from them. Good push, and they should be able to take this here in not too much longer.
Yeah, that's an impressive attack from them. Obviously, it was in overtime when Danny Defeato was finally able to have this first point. Rein's Rejects making quick work of the same. Father Squanch at 84% to that Nano on fire, and you expect to be able to combine some exciting ultimates coming in through the streets phase. 5 minutes and 19 seconds. It's around 4 minutes more than Danny Defeato had at the time, so we could be up for a really interesting second round here on Rein's Rejects map pick, King's Row.
And it's interesting that Danny DeVito was able to do so well on the control point, but it took him a lot more time to take this point in the hybrid map than it did for Rein's Rejects, who did lose the first control point. So a little bit of back and forth here. Now we're going to be able to see how well they are on this street phase while they're trying to push this payload forward.
Yeah, now the coalescence coming out immediately from more or less seeing Dang Techno Jesus a little bit low, able to capitalize there. The Nano Visor coming, the Nano rather coming in onto Vintage. Now shoots the Dragon Blade and cleaning up in the back, able to grab a good 2, looking for additional damage with the Transcendence from a Skull coming through just a little bit too late though, not really able to heal quite as much as they would have liked. And that'll be a quick team kill there for Rein's Rejects. They're coasting through the street phase.
Yeah, and it was a good job from Sarge to hook that Transcending Zenyatta, kind of get him away from his team, at least that Roadhog that was left, and it allowed Rein's Rejects to kind of clean up and get the rest of their picks to easily cap this checkpoint.
Yeah, now coming in through that section really easily. It's 5 minutes and 28 seconds. They've got a lot of room to work with here on the clock. Good deflection there from Vantage Knife, who's going off from Genji, able to take down Darth Dillon, and the defender's already disadvantaged. Could be a very quick map here for Rein's Rejects. They don't have much further to go, and a lot of time in the clock. Definitely a lot of ultimates to work with. To Sarge with a whole hog, so really try and use it here. Death by Ray with the Death Blossom, able to grab 2 in the back. And yeah, as they combine for the kills, Rein's Rejects just pushing aside Danny Defeato like they're not even there.
And we do see that Tyre come out. He's able to get Vantage Knife, which is probably a pretty big pick because he's been able to do work so far and just decimating this defense. However, it just looks like they're going to continue pushing forward. We do see some of Danny Defeato coming back onto the point. However, Crazy Joe gets down. Donut also goes down. Yeah, just the kill feed going entirely blue right now.
And the defenders got off the point. Jiff trying to come back on May as long as possible for those 2 defenders there for Danny Defeato got off the point long enough for Rein's Rejects to push that in. And we are all tied up here.
Play of the game.
All right. Going into this third round, this is the kind of Overwatch I like to see. Just really exciting. Both the teams not willing to give an inch and fighting tooth and nail for this last win.
Yeah, now the Nano going in on the streets phase there, Vintage Knife able to clean up quite a few, and a good combination with Father Squanch's Anna. And yeah, just quick work. See the 40 eliminations there, more or less, doing what we can to keep the team alive. Good representation for these healers, but it is Rein's Rejects taking second in a best-of-3 series. Danny Defeato with the map pick when we come back. And here we go down to the wire on the last game of Week 6 on Nepal here. Rein's Rejects and Danny Defeato locks up at 1-1 going into the third game in the best-of-3 series. Excited for this tiebreaker and a lot to play for. What do you think we might see from the map pick from Danny Defeato?
Man, just judging off that last game, I definitely do not expect to see them do a payload or hybrid map. They did pretty well on the control point, so I expect to see either the control point or the 2CP. Probably the control point just because teams generally don't pick 2CP. It's not a very popular map type to do. However, if they don't go control point, they should be a little worried because Rein's Rejects, you can just tell they've got their comms together. They're starting to mesh more as a team, and they still gave Dan DeVito a run for their money on Nepal at the very beginning. So I think, yeah, whatever they pick, it's going to be hotly contested.
Well, they did decide to go control point, another map pick coming in. Thought we might see a repeat and see Oasis in the exact maps in that order from the game earlier, but it will be Lijiang Tower, another fan favorite coming out from Dana Defeato, and hoping they can wrap up a control point like they did on Nepal. Rein's rejects again with the momentum that can be so crucial coming into the third map. You know, we did see the same kind of thing happen with the champion tier game earlier today, where the team that won the control point first lost the second map, decided to go control point for the third, and lost that one too, because momentum is such a big, kind of a big influencer. So we'll see if Dana Defeato can hold on to the win, or if Rein's rejects can come from behind to snatch it from them. I think both teams are ready though, so probably get straight to. Actually, we'll see if there's any substitutions again. It's I believe Rein's rejects that have some players in the wings that could come in. The switch to Death by Ray looks like a positive one, able to get the kills there. But he will be coming out this time, actually. Absorb VKL. I think that's another DPSer coming in for Death by Ray. So, again, nice that they have a pretty flexible comp. Slot members here and there. They do have, I think, Breakout that can play the Zenyatta, and then we saw Vintage Knife kind of go off on Reaper, so yeah, just trying to maybe change the shape and get absorbed in there and see what he can do.
It is a little interesting to see them make that switch after winning as dominantly as they were able to, but you know, the captains kind of know what's best. They obviously have a plan in mind for this control point, and I'm excited to see what they're able to do. If it's anything like you know, that first point where they had to capture on King's Road, then this should be a quick map.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to see this one go 2-0. Obviously, with a 1-1 series, I just think we have to go down 1-1 in the game as well. But you know, that's just us being greedy as neutrals. Always love to see more Overwatch, and a lot to play for. Again, with the playoffs looming, Rein's rejects looking to come back and establish their spot as one of the top teams in this tier. And Dana Defeato trying to sneak into the playoffs here towards the last few weeks. So a lot to play for.
And you mentioned this map was kind of a fan favorite. It's definitely probably my favorite control point. There's a lot of kind of differences with each of the different 3 points, and it I don't know, it's just a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I completely agree, and the community pretty much agrees with you as well. It's going to be Sarge VKL now for Rein's rejects on the left, going Diva Absorb now subbed in for Death by Ray, going Soldier, Vintage Knife on McCree, Arthur Squanch, and Lucio. A lot of flexibility there, whereas more or less comes in on Moira. Breakout going Winston. For the red team, Dana Defeato, Darth Donut now on Tracer, Crazy Joe going Diva, Dank Techno Jesus on Pharah, Jiff, Winston, Ermagood, and Skull filling out those solid supports for Dana Defeato.
Yeah, this might be the first time we've seen GIF on the Winston, and I'm excited to see what he's able to do against the opposing Winston, and kind of get a lot of these squishier characters out of the way.
Yeah, and I like the switch there, Vintage Knife going onto the McCree specifically to try and deal with maybe the expected Pharah from Jesus. I think that's a smart pick. And actually double hit scan, not wanting to take any chances. The pharmacy combo coming in full force without a mercy of their own. They will need to eliminate that healer as quickly as possible. Getting straight to work though, getting booed for it as Dank Techno Jesus will get the better from this time. And that may be the initiation that Dana Defeato needs to try and take this point.
Yeah, it's 3 early picks, and Absorbed kind of dropping off the edge. Moira goes down as well. They kind of need to fall back and regroup now. That was more or less a team wipe, and they need to figure out a different strategy, focus that Pharah down a little bit more, and yeah, that's kind of their only chance of winning this. Their Pharah is more or less dominant, especially with that Mercy pocketing her.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a difficult task, but they do have double hit scan, so hopefully they can kind of get that under control. Already ultimates building for the red team, now defending. Danny Defeato, Darth Donut close to a pulse bomb. Crazy Joe with the self-destruct on the horizon. Actually now has a tank techno. Jesus, very close to a rocket barrage as well. Still holding well. The defender's trying to come in. Now the self-destruct coming out as the rocket barrage combines. Maybe a little bit of overkill there as the self-destruct doesn't quite connect, but Dank able to pick up a couple. Really everyone getting in on the action in the feed as they continue to hold this pretty soundly. And Danny DeVito picking up what they left off on Nepal at 41% and not looking back.
And we mentioned this is a very fair dominant map, and Danny DeVito has that fair in their pocket. We saw it on Nepal, really just being dominant, and so not a whole lot of surprise that he's going that again and just cleaning up so far. Not sure how he's going to be able to do for the rest of these games because they're, I guess, not as conducive to a Pharah. But if he keeps playing the way he is now, this would be an easy win for Danny DeVito.
As we say that, it's finally Sarge taking matters to his own hands, using the rockets to take down that Pharah instead of depending on the hit scans. The Pharah now, or the res coming in though from Overgood Bird will pay for it. Getting that Pharah back into the fold, but dying as a result. Sound Barrier now coming in by the spawners to try and help Rein's rejects initiate this attack and build it as a percentage on the point. But until the kill's just going the way of the DPSers for Danny DeVito, making it difficult for these Rein's rejects attackers to really gain any traction.
Yeah, they're just doing a really good job, kind of wiping the floor with Rein's rejects at the moment. And yeah, as you can see, quick double by GIF on both of those characters, and this should be more or less the last little engagement.
Yeah, last little push there for Sarge, just trying desperately to get to the point as much as possible. More or less using the Coalescence. Will take some rockets to the face though from Dank Techno Jesus. The rest of the kill still going the way of Danny DeVito as Vanish Knife trying to answer one back will fall after being able to get that Pharah. Just not looking good here for Rein's rejects, getting swept pretty quickly. I think that's going to be a 100-0 win on the first round of Legion Tower.
Yeah, decisive victory, like you said, 100-0. Just really good job from Danny DeVito. Like you mentioned, picking up where they left off. We saw them playing pretty dominantly that last point on Nepal, and it looks like they're just doing the same thing here, getting onto the point quickly. Their positioning is, a little bit better than Rein's rejects, and it allows them to get picks a lot faster and just clean the floor.
Yeah, just playing to their strengths and doing a good job of it. Now changing though, I like the switch here from them. Crazy Joe now going off the Diva 2 Reinhardt, Dank Techno Jesus, opting out of Pharah. Like you said, with this map could be a little bit more difficult. Going Roadhog, actually now May, playing off tank, Jiff switching to Zarya. I'm gonna get Burr now without the Pharah deciding to go Moira. And as I say that, they're already starting to switch the comp, so we'll see if any of that actually sticks. For the other side, unchanged, I believe. Actually, Vanish Knife going McCree instead of, or going Reaper instead of the McCree, but otherwise unchanged.
It looks like Rein's rejects is going to be the first one onto the point this time, kind of pushing back Danny DeVito and trying to hold this position to prevent them and take this point first. Looks like they might be able to, unless something comes out from Danny DeVito here in the near future.
Yeah, and an excellent response here from Rein's rejects by being aggressive and pushing into that high ground and forcing Danny DeVito back into the stairwell. Getting the kills now as Vanish Knife is able to pick up Crazy Joe and eliminate that shield from Danny DeVito, but now an early Coalescence coming out from Overgood Bird may actually change things the other direction for Danny DeVito. They're getting the kills they need in the feed. Another Coalescence coming on the other side for more or less, just trying to keep Rein's rejects alive while the squad's trying to answer one back. No one capturing the point just yet. It's been open. Actually, it's Rein's rejects trying to hold on to the point as long as possible, rather, as they're getting pushed back from Danny DeVito and investing a few ults to do so. It might be DeVito able to flip this back.
As we say that, we see Vintage Knife come off with his Reaper Death Blossom, as well as a Supercharger from Orisa, doing a really good job, as well as a Diva Bomb. They're investing everything in this fight. They want to take this, and looks like they did take it first. Now they're all the way almost up to 50%, and yeah, really good comeback, really good answer from Rein's rejects to just kind of clean up Danny DeVito and hold on to this point.
Yeah, that Death Blossom again, Vintage able to come in kind of out of nowhere, grab a good 3, and tip the fight their favor. It really looked like Danny DeVito was going to be able to come in and flip that point back, but now 65% gone for Rein's rejects, trying to answer back and tie up this series. All the way to trying to win this game. But now Darth Donut coming in, getting a quick pick on Absorb. Sarge going out of mech for falling beans. Defeato definitely have space to move into the point. They should do that here.
Yeah, they did a good job of kind of consecuting their Zarya ult with a Rein art, and then after all that was done, they popped the Coalescence to keep her entire team alive. So they are able to flip it. However, Rein's rejects did get 86% before they were able to do so. So they've got to be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, and an early pick here on Absorb means Danny Defeato will be able to earn at least probably up to about 30% or so, not having to worry about these attackers coming in. It's very aggressive defense from them of this point as they push even further forward. Dank Techno, though, getting caught in a weird position, and Vanish Knife able to take him down. The Coalescence now coming in from Moira less, though, trying to help the attackers push into point. And I think they're starting to get a few of these kills, and if Danny Defeato aren't careful, they may get kind of flanked from behind.
We do see another Death Blossom come out, able to get one pick, though it is a pretty big pick on that tank, and we see them pushing forward. Yeah, now we see Defeato kind of on their back foot, trying to and Crazy Joe loses his ultimate to Father Squanch on the Lucio. That's the name. I couldn't remember for the life of me. But yeah, really good job, really aggressive, good flip back, and again, just that Death Blossom doing a really good job of kind of initiating the push for Rein's rejects.
It's got to be said, good patience here from Sarge. Could have used the self-destruct in that last fight, but kind of waited. Now they've got ultimates for this last engagement. Used it there, doesn't quite connect, but able to zone out the Danny Defeato members a little bit. The Coalescence coming through to try and help, and the overtime meter already threatening to tick down as it's a galvanized, grouped up Rein's rejects behind that supercharger, just trying to eliminate the last few straggling members of Danny Defeato. And I think that we're seeing a completely different Rein's rejects control point team than we saw on Nepal. They'll take the second round.
Absolutely, they had some good switches that didn't have to do with the Pharaoh, which I think was a really important because the Pharaoh was able to take apart their team in that first round. So with those two combined, as well as having the Reaper instead of the McCree, yeah, really good job going into this third and final round of this match against the two. Man, this is on pins and needles right now, Sultan.
It's exciting. Rein's rejects. Just to give you a little bit of background, it was Danny Defeato taking the first round on Nepal and a very clean 2-0 win. Rein's rejects on their map pick Kings Row, a strong defense to hold Danny Defeato to 2 points and able to cap the map in very convincing fashion. Now coming out on Lijiang Tower, tied up 1-1, all to play for here, and playoff implications on the line for both of these teams. Yeah, it doesn't get any better than this.
We do see Techno Jesus going back to that Pharah to try to put as much damage as possible. They know it's a sort of an Achilles heel for Rein's rejects, and hopefully they'll be able to kind of make the most of that at this point.
Yeah, the early kill on Father Squanch may be a positive indicator for them that was a good pick, getting the second kill on Breakout as the kills start to go the direction of Danny Defeato. Vanish was able to answer one back, but I think by and large Danny Defeato will be able to wrap up with this initial engagement. Though it's still contested on the point, a very early Rocket Barrage coming in from Dank Techno Jesus. The Pulse Bomb will grab 2 also from Dark Donut. I think we'll wrap at this point very easily.
We need to see some hit scans come out of Rein's rejects to take out that Pharah Mercy combo. If they can focus the Mercy first, I think it'll be easy for them to kind of clean up and take the point away from Danny Defeato. However, if they're unable to do so, I expect to see a repeat of the first round.
Yeah, and they kind of somebody can switch to Zenyatta and kind of get orbs onto those 2 airborne members to make it a little bit easier for the hit scan rather. Sarge coming directly into point though will not deliberate too much longer. Gets immediately melted via the damage. Tries to use the self-destruct, but it just won't connect. Now the disadvantages that come into point. It's a Valkyrie coming out here from Burge to try and keep the members of Danny Defeato alive on the point. The Coalescence from Rein's rejects, specifically more or less trying to find some people to heal, but just not a lot of team members on point to continue contesting.
Danny Defeato doing a good job of just pushing back and cleaning up here, getting all the last stragglers. We see Sarge go out of Mega Absorbed also went down. So yeah, forces more time that Rein's rejects has to take in order to group up and kind of get their team back together for a good push. Sarge now goes down. However, he does get res if he can get away a little bit and get his mech back. There he goes. Now they have kind of the people they need to push forward.
It is. Yeah, Tank Technologies, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, coming in from the back, not even expected there, and they were able to use a few of the defense managed to grab a couple, but I think the damage may have already been done. Danny DeVito once again cleaning up, and if your Ryan's rejects back up against the wall, 85%, and just not enough members to really come in and contest this.
Yeah, a little bit of an odd primal rage there. However, you know, he knows what's best to do. It enabled Ryan's rejects to, you know, I'm sorry, it didn't enable them to push forward at all. However, now we see 2 of Ryan's rejects, 4 of them on the point, just kind of doing everything they can to push forward. However, with Father Squanch and more or less, that's going to be 2 huge picks. Sarge also goes down. Ah, man, it looks like it's kind of going the way of Danny Defeato. We did see a double come out from Vintage Knife on that Death Blossom. He's been deadly with that so far, but with Dank Techno Jesus in the sky on that fair, there's not a whole lot that he's able to do, really.
Yeah, now the Valkyrie coming out, but you're exactly right. Tried to use the Death Blossom, but to no avail. It's going to be just all members of Danny DeVito on point as the res tries to come through. Father Squanch surprisingly able to get that off, but it's another Rocket Barrage from Dank Techno Jesus, just trying to clean up with the rest of these members. And just all to play for here on the point for Ryan's Reject. They don't want to lose to Danny DeVito. Again, with playoff implications on the line, but it just won't happen. Danny DeVito coming back to win from Lijiang Tower and taking this game.
Wow, really highly contested, really good game all the way around, taken it to the very last round of the very last possible map. Just a lot of fun to watch, and both these teams did a good job. We see Vintage here on that Reaper. He was running a clinic with these Death Blossoms, and yeah, really enjoyable to see.
Able to come with the Supercharger and getting a lot of that damage through. Not even a Death Blossom play of the game. We definitely saw a couple in this game, able to win the battle there, but not quite the war. Ryan's Rejects dropping here to Danny DeVito, and yeah, it just makes the middle of this challenger tier all that more exciting. We'll see how that affects the standings and playoff implications, and look ahead to week 7 when we come back. Oh, and what can you say after a game like that? Danny DeVito able to eke out the win against Rein Rejects, who definitely gave them a run for their money. Danny DeVito coming in and maybe thought they would coast to a win after the 2-0 Nepal. Rein's Rejects answering back very strongly on King's Road, but not quite able to get over the hump to beat Danny DeVito on Lijiang Tower, their map pick, and able to take it right there. And really does kind of mix up the challenger tier. Like we said, a lot of teams in the mix there with the same record, 2-3. and looking to kind of climb a little bit higher in the tier to catch up to Crisis Red and Squaw, sitting up there near the top. But now Rein's Rejects dropping to 3-3, but will gain another map point with 7 for them, while Dana Defeato going up to, I believe it'll be 2-4. So still a few teams could fight for that 4th spot. Obviously now Rein's Rejects dropping to 3-3 will make the last 2 playoff spots in Challenger tier very interesting. But what are your biggest takeaways from that match?
Well, like you mentioned, it was a really good match. We saw the best of both of those teams really come out. They did a good job. Holly contested, I mentioned earlier, the last round of the last game on that Lijiang Tower. So really enjoyable to watch, really fun to cast. But in the end, my MVP would have to be Dank Techno Jesus on that Pharah. Rein's Rejects just did not have an answer for him every time he came out, and it just allowed Dana Defeato to more or less run right all over Rein's Rejects. And you can see the results. They kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree more. The Pharah was definitely difficult, even with the double hit scan on Lijiang. Not quite able to overcome that Pharah. And again, the supports combining well on Dana Defeato to keep the members alive. And a solid team win for them. And yeah, really showed up here. Rein's Rejects again back to the drawing board, looking to get a win going to week 7. Looking ahead to week 7, we've got it's New Bonnie is our map of the week. Excited for that, but it'll be Dana Defeato taking on Desert Legion Gaming. That'll be a tough game for them, but exciting to watch. So looking forward to bringing that to you. It's Mjolnir up against Rein's Rejects. For them, also a good game. Mjolnir with the 4th playoff spot now, and yeah, lots to play for. Challenger tier, definitely one to keep an eye on as we finish up these last couple weeks of the season. But again, the free-for-all tournament is this Saturday, the 17th. Make sure you're available in the evening if you have signed up for that. Registration is closed, so make sure you're available. It should be a lot of fun, and we'll be casting that, bringing a lot of that action to you. Yeah, make sure you check the website for all sorts of information, score, schedule, stats, all that good stuff, and the playoff picture. We'll have those standings updated for you tomorrow, so you can check that out. And yeah, I think that's about it. Any final thoughts, Zach?
Not a whole lot. Just I'm looking forward to that free-for-all tournament. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I plan on winning, obviously, but if that doesn't happen, I'll be joining you in the booth to comment on those games, and it should be really enjoyable to watch. So if you're not signed up, definitely be there. Be on Twitch, OWXL.com, and we'll have those games for you.
And got all the links on the website. Definitely go and check that out. And throw us a subscribe if you have a Prime membership. We really appreciate all the subscribers that help to contribute to the league. It's all run by volunteers, so being able to bring all this content to you is greatly appreciated. So shout out to everybody able to support the league. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next week on Numbani. I think that will do it for us here. So for the OWXL Challenger tier and for Zach Space 26, I'm Salt and Pepper, and we'll see you next time.
Push forward. That's going to be 2 huge picks. Sarge also goes down. Man, it looks like it's kind of going the way of Dana Defeato. We did see a double.